Welcome to The Advocates. I'm Aaron Dean. Emil Wilbekin is a jack of all trades, a journalist, a media executive, and an advocate for diversity and inclusion. He's also the creator of Native Son. It's a self-described movement, platform, and community that is celebrating Black, gay, and queer men through advocacy and mentorship. Native Son holds events where attendees can learn, gather, and celebrate their authentic selves. They are also showcasing Black, gay, and queer joy and unconditional love all over social media. Will Beacon says that Native Son is building up Black gay men instead of tearing them down. Hi, Emil. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Aaron. How are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm great. It's an honor to have you here. I'm a fan of the work that you've done. So just having you here is just like, I'm like, ah!
I love it. Yay.
Yes. So, you are someone who is very active in their community, from working in media to advocacy. I mean, you do all of it. Can you tell us just a little bit about what you do and why you do
Sure.
it?
I do everything. I do a lot of media work. So I write for magazines like Essence, The Cut, Vogue, The New York Times, Architectural Digest. And so I'm doing those projects. And then I do Native Son, which is inspiration and empowerment for Black, gay, and queer men. So I'm the founder of the organization. We actually call it a movement, community, and platform. And then aside from that, I'm also now a professor. I am a professor of journalism at Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. So I'm busy.
Yes, you are. Well, I'm glad you had some time for us today. And, like you said, you are the founder of Native Son. And according to your mission statement, it says, in part, organizing and harnessing the collective power of Black, gay, queer men. Tell us a little bit more about the movement and the platform that you had mentioned and why harness that power.
I think the reason I started Native Son was wanting to have an intervention for myself, wanting to be in community with other Black, gay, and queer men to talk about HIV, trying to find a man, issues at work, being the only one at work,
Mhm.
all these different types of things. Do you want to have kids or not? And that was really the intention behind starting the movement, community, and platform. So it's kind of like I said, I did it for myself, and it happened to speak to so many other people. And that's the
Yeah.
beauty of what Native
And
Son is.
when we talk about the power, the experiences, the stories of gay Black men, what makes us so unique? What makes us so powerful and special?
Right. Well, I'll go back to the first question. It's harnessing our collective power. We have so much power, right? We are so creative. We are brilliant. If you think about, we stand on the shoulders of all these amazing people. So we stand on the shoulders of, James Baldwin. So Native Son is named after Notes of a Native Son by James Baldwin. But I also think about Alvin Ailey, and I think about Elin Harris and Marlon Riggs and Essex Hemphill, all these brilliant men, Bayard Rustin, all these brilliant men who've had impact on our communities, our culture, our arts, our entertainment, but oftentimes don't get credit for it. So to create a community of us to support each other, that's how we then harness our collective power, because I've seen other communities do that, right? I've
Mhm.
seen lesbian communities do that. I've seen white gay communities. I've seen trans communities do it. But Black gay men, we don't really do it. And so I thought it was an opportunity for us to come together as a community to celebrate each other, to see each other, and collectively harness our power so that we can be even more fierce and fabulous than we already are.
Exactly. But I got a question, and I feel like I probably know the answers. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna listen to you say this one. But what do you think it is that's keeping us from doing that? What's happening within ourselves or our surroundings that's keeping us from, like you said, building those communities without any issues, unlike other groups?
Well, I think the main thing that we have to be really clear about is that we live at the intersection of our Blackness and our queerness. And so, as much as we want to think everyone's all good with us being queer and our homosexuality and our fabulousness, they're not. right? And there's a lot of shame and stigma within our own Black community, but in the world at large. And then we're dealing with systemic racism and other things that exist. So once you stack all those things against us, it's kind of hard for people, especially if you don't live like in a major urban city, to be like, I'm just going to live my full authentic life. It may be dangerous for you to do that. It
Mhm.
may be life threatening for you to do that. So we want to create representation so that people can do that, right? So they can say, you know what, I can do this because all these other people are doing it. And in fact, I have a whole community that has my back. But we deal with so many issues, like our HIV numbers are through the roof. We deal with just all the things with systemic racism and then all the things of being Black men, right? We still have the same health disparities. We still have to deal with issues around unemployment, incarceration, housing insecurities, all these things. And then we're going to still be fabulous on top of it. That's a lot to carry.
Exhausting.
So right. It's exhausting. And so you just think of the trauma that it is to be a Black person and then the trauma that it is to be a queer person in this world. It's heavy. And so I wanted to create a space where we could celebrate each other, where we could celebrate Black joy, where we could see each other and lift each other up instead of tearing each other down the way society as a whole has done for so many years.
Even speaking about, celebrating each other, one thing that I really love about Native Son's social media platform, in particular the Instagram page, is how you all celebrate our community through pictures and videos and showing us, living life happy no matter what's going on. And, how can we continue to do that in our own personal lives off of social media, of course, but what can that do for our relationships and bonds with each other when we celebrate each other?
Well, I think when we celebrate each other, when we see the beauty in each other, right? We're going to be less shady. We're going to be more supportive of each other.
Yes.
I really wanted to create, like I said, a community. So it's about love, right? Like I think that's the thing. One of the points that I bring across when we have events, I'm like, leave your shade, your drama at the door. This is a place of love. This is a safer space. And it allows people to come and be their best and brightest selves. And they show up and they're like, oh, I'm like, meet someone that you didn't know before you came. Maybe meet a date, maybe meet a new friend, maybe meet a work, situation. But I think we have so much to give to each other. We haven't been given permission to do that.
So tell us, what's next for Native Son? And of course, you too, Emil. I feel like you've probably got like 5,000 projects on the tube. But but what can we look for when it comes to Native Son? And how can people get involved in the work of the movement?
Such great questions. So next, we're working on our Native Son 101 list. So that drops in December. So that's 101 Black, gay, and queer men who have created change and impact in this calendar year. So it's kind of in real time. So that'll come out in December. And then we're planning to launch a content platform because we believe that our stories matter and they're really, really important. And so we want to tell stories specifically from a Native Son lens and in the vein of all the Black, gay, and queer men whose shoulders we stand on. So James Baldwin, Langston Hughes, Marlon Riggs. There's so many amazing storytellers. And so we want to continue that legacy. And those are a few of the highlights that are coming up next. There's obviously so much more in my head, as you know, as you already said. But those are two of the things that I think are super important and how people can kind of get involved. If you go on our website currently, you can sign up for our newsletter. So that's one great way to find out what's happening. And the other way is DM us at Native Son Now and just let us know where you live, what you're interested in, and how you'd like to be involved. And we'll try to figure that out. And we've actually had a lot of people come and volunteer and work with us because they DM'd us. They moved to New York. They didn't have community and they needed community. And now they have community.
Thanks so much for watching The Advocates. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to stream us live. And you can even subscribe to our YouTube channel. For The Advocate channel, I'm Aaron Dean.